nervous for the Rams, but you got to be a little enthusiastic after being there.
Bro, that game atmosphere was ridiculous. The energy, the electricity, that place was rocking. Anyone was there, and a lot of the Super Buck fans were there too. The Buck.
Tampa Tones. We are joined by Lead Goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron Show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little clear. But we're joined by Pat Donovan.
It looks like Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like we got a little...
No, my camera's broke.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Happy Tune Me Up Tuesday. Tampa Tones here, going over a plethora of things. The tragedy that occurred with former Bucs wide receiver Mike Williams. He's passed on, he's passed away, and it's very tragic. It's bitter. 36 years young. Could you believe that? We have another Buccaneer gone before the age of 40. That is our third Buck gone before the age of 40 within the past 24 months or so. So it's really tough times as we keep losing him younger and younger. We got a victory recap to go over briefly as the Buccaneers upended the Vikings in their home turf. And we tried to warn you here. We all predicted the Bucs would win. So that was free cheese. If you watch that one, that was easy money. You should have bet the money line because it was easy money. We're going to talk about that a little bit. And then we're going to dip into the Bucs-Bears Sunday matchup and go over our podcast schedule for the remainder of the week. So we'll be with y'all here as we're expecting Huncho to join and ride co-pilot until the top of the hour or so here eventually. And we're expecting maybe Stun as well. We'll see. It's a busy time of year for the Buccaneers, though. But you guys at least get me as we're all fired up here and ready to roll. So let me just do this little thing here quick. Gotta love being the producer and the host all at the same time, all in one big spanking package. Once again, join us for our way too early pregame shows every Sunday at 7 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Eastern. Your first crack of Sunday football Bucs coverage. That is every Sunday, 7 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Eastern on the Buccaneers. Breakfast with the Buccaneers on the way too early pregame show. Tuesdays, Tune Me Up Tuesdays, every Tuesday right here, right now, 6:05 Central, 7:05 Eastern. And then every Thursday or Friday will be our pregame preview with the great JC Allen from Sports Illustrated, or perhaps other great guests that we might bring in as well. So we've really got a loaded lineup this year, 3 shows a week. It's pretty incredible if you ask me. And I'm very excited for the future and what the future continues to hold. You could keep up with us on Twitter at Buccaneers. Keep up with us on Instagram at Buccaneers Pod. Keep up with us on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, Google Play, and so much more at Buccaneers Podcast. And then you could follow me on Twitter today at Tampa Tones. As Facebook is always booming, as Amanda's viewing on Facebook. Thank you so much. We do appreciate that. Corey Hayes viewing on Facebook as well. We appreciate that, Corey. Hope all is well with you, brother. We're going to get into a couple of things here quickly about the Mike Williams tragedy that occurred and kind of dig into that a little bit. We did get a couple of questions. Hey, what happened? A little confusing the past couple of weeks. It has been with Mike Williams, and I really don't blame anybody for being confused over the whole situation with Mike Williams, with the great Will, formerly number 19 with the Buccaneers. I did have his jersey about a decade ago. Now my buddy has that jersey, and he actually wore Mike Williams' jersey to our fantasy football draft a couple Sundays ago. How spooky is that? Is J-Lo in the building? What up, Tones? What up, J-Lo? How you doing, brother? Thanks for joining me for Tune Me Up Tuesday. I do appreciate it. How about that dub? Yes, sir. We're going to get into the beautiful W here shortly, but we're going to open up with some Mike Williams chat briefly, go over the Mike Williams situation, as it was a confusing one, and really make sure that everybody does understand what surely did happen over the course of the past 7 to 10 days or so with 36-year-old gone too soon Mike Williams. So Will was battling, right? And it was reported about 8 days ago, 9 days ago. And keep in mind, Mike Williams, former NFL receiver, made north of $14 million in his NFL career. That's a lot of money. And he probably made more off endorsements and whatnot. Pretty good change. Sadly, Will was working with construction of late. Construction recently has been his thing. Can't knock a man for his work ethic and continuing to work. Kudos to him. Unfortunately, tragedy struck about 8 to 9 days ago as Mike Williams was working at a construction site. He was clobbered in the head with the falling object on the construction site working on electrical construction. As Levi is joining us on Facebook now, how we do, and thanks for joining us. He was working on a construction site, got struck in the head, and he got rushed to the hospital. Now, a Buffalo news reporter, keep in mind he was on the Bills as well, so Buffalo was watching the story from afar at the same time. So a Buffalo news reporter had reported incorrectly that Mike Williams passed away. That was about 8 days ago, I believe. It was last Monday or Tuesday. So 8 or 9 days ago, take a day, give a day. But it was reported that Mike Williams incorrectly passed away. It had the Bucs Twitter world up in arms. It had Bills Twitter world up in arms. We were all sad. We were mourning together over the passing of Mike Williams. Obviously, Mike Williams' family at that time read the tweets. They rushed to the hospital. His daughter and company, they rushed to the hospital as well. Now, I was getting questions. Why hasn't Syracuse football? Why hasn't Tampa football? Why hasn't Buffalo football put out anything on Mike Williams' passing? And my response was simply that the teams have to gather more. As Huncho joins us here now, and we'll bring him in here shortly, our great co-host. But my reply was the team has to gather their information. The team has to do the homework, and they have to cross their T's and dot their I's. If somebody is reported dead, they're going to make sure they get the news accurately. They're going to make sure they get their facts straight. Well, no teams kept reporting it. It kind of got a little fishy because no one else was reporting it. Some Bucs sites were covering the news, not reporting the news. There is a difference, but they were taking the news of Mike Williams' death and covering it. A day later, Rick Stroud from the Tampa Bay Times came out with the story how Mike Williams was on life support. So it went from Mike Williams being deceased to the 36-year-old actually being on life support. And that's really making me feel sick at that time, right? Because me, amongst many other people, presume that Mike Williams was gone at this point in time because it was reported that he had passed away. Here to find out that he was still on life support, which is a blessing, but at the same time, a little cruel, a little disgusting that somebody prematurely reported the man dead. Could you imagine what his family was going through, what they were thinking? Then a couple days ago, 3-4 days back now at this point, so 3 to 4 days after he was reported dead, about 2 days after he was reported on life support, they said that he was conscious and able to talk to family. So a lot of us thought Mike Williams was turning the corner. A lot of us had the power of prayer. A lot of us thought Mike Williams, one of our favorite wide receivers in the early 2010s, was about to pull through. And then just today, Jay Retcher from WDAE reported the tragic news that Mike Williams has officially passed away. So the past 8 days was a roller coaster. 8 days ago was reported that Mike Williams passed away. 7 days ago, it was reported that he didn't pass. He was just on life support. 4 days ago was reported that Mike Williams was actually conscious, turning the corner, able to chat with some family members. Now this morning, tragedy officially struck as 36-year-old Bucs wide receiver, former Bucs wide receiver, will forever be a Buck in our heart, did pass away this morning, according to Jay Retcher. He reported from Mike Williams' agent. And again, that's the third Buck in the past 24 to 28 months or so to leave us before the age of 40. Remember the late, great Vincent Jackson, former teammates with Mike Williams, died at 38. Geno Hayes, passed in his mid-30s a couple years back as well. And now the tragedy of Mike Williams passing at 36. Huncho, first and foremost, it's a bitter day for Tampa Bay as we lost a great guy and one of those warriors who kept fighting. And secondly, we need to stop losing our brothers so early, our former Bucs brothers so early. This is becoming a topic of conversation far too often on the Buccaneers podcast here, and it's really a tragedy, brother.
Yeah, I'd just like to send my condolences out to his family and foremost, and just sorry. It's sad to see anybody pass away, especially a guy that you grew up watching, Well, we're around the same age, but I was watching him as he got drafted and coming up and everything that was going on, circling around him. And it's just sad, man. I just feel like you never know when it's your time. So I just say, just whatever you got to do, just live a righteous life, man. And don't take nothing for granted, man. And be thankful because you never know. But I definitely want to say the reports that was out earlier this week or last week was disgusting, like, because prematurely, like,
Totally brutal, right? I mean, just that guy should be fired.
yeah. And then, I don't know if he came back and apologized or clarified anything that was going on, but that was just totally disgusting. I remember I don't know if you remember the first thing before I even said anything, I went in the chat and I was like, hey, why hasn't the team spoke out about it? And you clarified, he's like, maybe just double, triple checking. And that's what you said. And, I was like, okay, whatever. And I left it at that. And I didn't post about it. I didn't say anything about it. And come to find out, that wasn't the cause of the case at all, And he was alive and he was fighting back. And his daughter, I believe, came and visited him. And it seemed like he was promising that he would make it through. And, in the blink of an eye, things changed quickly from good to bad, bad to good, back to bad. So, I mean, once again, rest in peace. And it is a sad day. And I just wish, I just like to say this. Me and my brother was talking about, like, man, you never know, man. That's why you gotta take advantage of every opportunity that you have to the fullest.
And ain't that right, Huncho? That's why whenever I'm down in Tampa, I'm hitting you up, I'm hitting my boys up, hitting my brothers up, because I love y'all and I want to spend time with my friends, and I consider you guys family. So, like you said, you got to live life to the fullest. You got to take advantage of the time you have with individuals. So it's really a shame. And as you alluded to, you asked about it. I gave my thoughts about it, and I'm sick because even me knowing that the Bucs are doing their homework, I did tweet rest in peace. But I mean, now a week later, he is gone, and it's really just been a whirlwind, man. It's really been
we know
crazy.
where you come from. I know where you come from with it for sure. Like, but the guys that reported that's just, it's just sad. And just imagine being a family member and if you were on Twitter and you just read that, like, that's the first place you got to hear it from, or whatever website you're on, and you just scroll and you start seeing these reports about somebody that's in your family or close to you, and you're not even knowing what's going on, and it's just tragic and it's just disgusting. I just don't understand people that just want to break a story so bad that they'll just put false things out there without looking fully into the details or double triple checking.
I know, and it really, especially about death, right? I mean, about anything you're reporting on, you should double and triple check if you're really that good of a journalist and individual. But when you're talking about somebody's living being experience, you don't mess around with that at all. I mean, people have families, people have friends, we're humans. It's really a tragedy what happened, and I never hope anyone to get fired, but that guy deserves to be out of a job. And the more I talk about it, the more angry I get. So, Hunch, I'll let you wrap up our last thoughts and prayers on the tragedy of Mike Williams.
Once again, I just want to send condolences out to his family, and I just encourage anybody, if you're in a position to hug and love on your loved ones, just take those moments and cherish them, because you never know when it's your day. This man was working, unfortunately, and you never know when it's going to happen. Where he was in the NFL or construction, whatever is going on, it doesn't matter what you're doing. Just you got to be, you got to love everybody the way that they need to be loved. Be forgiving, and don't be so quick to get angry because you never know when it could be your last time talking to somebody. So, I know it's hard for some people, but do what you can while you're here.
I couldn't agree more, Hunch. That was beautifully said, brother. Well said. Really well said. Now, as tough as it is, we're going to talk a little bit about week one, and then we're going to do a little preview. So I'm just really quick going to lay out the Buccaneers schedule for the upcoming year. Presuming we play on Sundays, this will be the Buccaneers weekly podcast schedule for when we play Sundays and I am in town. Every Tuesday, it will be Tune Me Up Tuesday, and that will entail what happened the previous week for a little bit of the show, the upcoming week a little bit of the show, and any hot news, any news about your Bucks for a little bit of the show. So that one will be about a 40-minute to an hour show. Tune Me Up Tuesday, every Tuesday here around 7 Eastern time on the Buccaneers podcast, recapping the week before and getting you ready for the week ahead. And then Thursday or Friday will be our preview show, our Sunday game day preview show, and we're going to have a guest on that day, a special guest. Last week
week was wild. I mean, it was amazing. If you missed it, you should go back and watch it because it was very, very good. Very good. I'm still stoked. I'm going to look at it again, man, for like the third time. It was so good.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Huncho. As a couple Christophers are in the house joining us. Christopher Cole, Chris Metz, how you doing, fellas? I loved it, Hunch. And this week I'm going to get us a special Bears guest because we do play the Bears. And maybe I'm going to try and get a fellow Buccaneer, Gene from Buck What You Heard On. I would love if Gene could hop on, chop it up with us, maybe a Bears guy as well. I got a couple of Bears reporters, buddies. So we'll see. That'll be Thursday or Friday. And then Sunday, once again, we're going to be here at 7:05 Central, 8:05 a.m. Eastern time for the way too early pregame show. And that'll kind of be the schedule on how our podcasts work on a weekly basis here on Bucks weeks, on game days. So for you guys who want to get accustomed to a schedule, turn the notification bell on and subscribe today to Buccaneers on YouTube, and you'll never miss out on Tune Me Up Tuesdays, on Preview Fridays, and then way too early pregame pod Sundays. Right, Hunch?
Yes, sir. That's the schedule. I'll be here.
I know you always are, brother, and that's what we love about you. So now we're going to dive into the week one game a little bit, see what we like, see what we hated, kind of go over anything that comes to mind, anything we want to bring up and talk about from the week one victory against Minnesota. And man, Huncho, I don't know about you, but I was watching this game with my pops, and then when the Colts were on commercial, my brother would come join us and watch it as well. But when we had Tom Brady the past 3 seasons, you always felt one thing as a Bucs fan. You were going to make the playoffs no matter what, no matter which game you lost, no matter which game you come back and won, no matter which player got hurt outside of Tom Brady. You always thought, we're going to make the playoffs. So at the end of the day, these games matter. But having Tom Brady, as J.C. Allen and the millions from Sports Illustrated are gathering attendance, as JC's sun's crashing down and it hurts inside. I'm done singing now. But when you had Tom Brady, it always felt like we were there, Huncho. We were going to be contenders. This past Sunday, the first game with life after Brady, from the opening kickoff till the ending kneel down, I felt nothing but a fast heartbeat. I was nervous because I told my dad, I'm like, hey, this feels like 2019 and before, where no playoffs are guaranteed. Every game's going to be put your ass on the line type game or get left in the dust. And that's just how it is.
Yeah, I understand completely. And it was nerve-wracking from the beginning. I had to stream like the first majority of the first quarter because I was leaving church, and had to stream it through my phone. That the reception was just messing up, so I was just so mad. I had to stop in like a McDonald's parking lot real quick and try to catch it. But it was nerve-wracking. It was like the plays were there, but it was either too high with Keith, and it was just not balanced. I felt like Baker needed to settle down. You know, he looked like he was a little hype amped, or more so the rust he had to get shaken off. But once he and also the play calling, it was not up to par as it should have been in the first half, and he adjusted. But for the most part, when watching coming in, and I get what all happens with it. We didn't play much first preseason games. We didn't get much chemistry. You got the offensive coordinator. His first time. Baker, you didn't see too much of him. You get back out there, people are game planning for you and stuff like that. It's you got to take some time to get on the same page, And I know second half when Dave Canales got on the ball and went to made his adjustments, and it was just phenomenal. I mean, Baker looked comfortable. The offense.
He was on angry runs, Baker. He made angry runs this week.
Oh my God, that man got that dog in him, and that's what we need as a team. Honestly, coming from Tom Brady, we know Tom Brady was a more respectable individual, so a lot of people respect it. But Baker is carrying his team, and it seems like he wants them to bring the ferocious. Like it's going to be angry. It's not like they counted us out type of team, but we're going to show them we some dogs, and we're going to fight for every yard and every inch. Everything matters. So if everybody can get that mentality, you see your quarterback out there putting his neck on the line and running for first downs like crazy, talking crap to people. I mean, you just got to love that fire, because that man loves the game, and he's willing to risk it all. Like, we could have been conservative and just didn't go for it, but Baker just took it and just ran like, I'm going to get the first, and that's what we need on this team. And that's what we haven't seen when it comes to a mobile standpoint. You know what I'm saying? Being from a mobile QB, Tom Brady, he did it a couple times, and it was like, whoa. But when you see a guy really just get in there and trying to stiff arm guys for the first down and getting in their face and fiery, and that'll get the team hyped up, you know what I'm saying? And that make the defense want to go back out there and, get another stop when we score and get the ball back to the offense.
Yeah, and Huncho, I think you hit the nail on the head a couple of spots there. Our gutsiness all of a sudden. I mean, Bowles tuned his inner Bruce Arians, right? His no risk it, no biscuit mentality. Correct. And really, that paid off beautifully for Bowles. And he made two great coaching decisions in the course of the same drive, because it was 4th and inches backed up around our 30-yard line. The Todd Bowles of last year would have surely punted that away. No doubt about it. This year, he gains the balls. He goes for it. I remember my pops looked at me. He's like, is he going for it? I'm like, I hope he does.
Unbelievable, right?
Yeah. The thing was, though, Hunch, I was thinking like Bowles, because I personally am like, dude, if we give the ball back to Minnesota, they're probably going to score.
Exactly.
Typical Bucs loss. We're not going to get the ball back. They're going to win on a field goal or touchdown, and that'll be that. Bowles knew that, thought that. He gained the first down with Baker Mayfield on a sneak on 4th and inches, a play that works probably 99% of the time. So very smart call there. Then you march down the field, you get it to 4th and 3. And my dad's like, they got to go for it. I'm like, no, they signed Chase McLaughlin for this reason.
Yeah.
So it was, and they trot Chase out, big money Chase as we call him now.
Oh, that's his name. Okay.
And 57-yarder makes it look easy. And Huncho, the Buccaneers, we've been big Chase McLaughlin advocates on how good of a leg he has from a long distance, and he surely showed it Sunday, and he showed why we moved on. And even Shaq Barrett alluded to that in the locker room after the game. He said, hey, look, if you watch Shaq Barrett's post-game presser, he said, hey, it's nice having a kicker, and it's not a slight on Suckup, but he said it's nice having a kicker who could stretch the offense out a little bit. And Huncho, as a fan, I felt exactly what he meant. So I thought Bowles couldn't have coached better, especially when it came down to the wire in those two decisions in general.
Most definitely. See, when you have a offensive coordinator that you trust, that can call up some plays when they're in the groove, and I watched Todd Bowles presser today, and yesterday, and also heard him speak today when he was talking to a reporter on the Total Access, and he was just basically saying when you you trust your offensive coordinator and how he adjusted. It was just Todd Bowles sounded so ecstatic, like it was a breath of fresh air when he came out. He said his game plan was just phenomenal. When the second half, how to attack them, because they had a pretty good hold of us when they came out in the first half, and they gave us some wrinkles that we wasn't ready for, and Dave adjusted, and that was good because as you know, in previous years, the OC, we don't need to say his name, but the OC previous to him did not adjust. He just went out there and put it on Tom Brady. Okay, you're the man. You know how to win. Do. You go out here and win these games. You're the comeback kid. You know what I'm saying? When you got a guy that's putting your players in position to get open, to make plays, to get in his groove, and he's only going to get better. That's the thing about Dave Canales. He's only going to get better. That what can lead to Todd Bowles to make those gutsy calls and going forward on 4th and 3 and not scared to put the defense back out there, because they were playing pretty good. They had some takeaways, so put the defense out there and make them get all the points we can get right now. We don't got to be greedy right now, and that is what I like about this Todd Bowles this year, and I gotta respect him because I gave him hell about last year about him being too conservative, but I see why he was conservative like that.
Yeah, and I agree with you, Hunch. And then you get a guy like Brady, as you said last year, and you get why he's conservative. And like we were speaking a little bit earlier, you always feel like you're in it with Brady, right? So it makes sense to be a little more conservative with the guy like Brady, because if you get the ball back in Brady's hands with a minute or two, you're confident you're going to score. You're confident you're going to do the right thing. Baker Mayfield, I love the guy, or Trask too. I love the guy, even Wolford, hell. But if the ball goes back into one of their hands at the minute or two left, you're not nearly as confident as you are with a guy like Tom Brady. So I think that was awesome. And then another thing that I keep seeing more and more shades of Hunch, Winfield by the game reminds me more and more of Rondé Barber every time he goes out there.
Barber, man.
I mean, doesn't that? He's, a quick guy who could sneak up on the quarterback in the pass rush game. He's their only safety in franchise history who has 10 or more sacks. He's a ball hawk for the ball, and when he plays pass coverage as well. He shows shades of Rondé Barber to me more by the week, Hunch.
Yeah, he could have had an interception on that stunt, I believe, by Kalijah Cansey when Joe Tryon went to the outside right, and then Cansey stunted to the inside in the middle, and it forced Cousins to get rid of the ball, and he had it right there. But I think Winfield went for the hit instead of playing the ball. You get what I'm saying? So, but that was another turnover right there. And the kid, he's just the ball. He's like his dad times like 5, kind of like his dad was a phenomenal player. And he's just like, it's genetics, man. It has to be, because he's just a terrific ball player, man. And at that safety position, man, I feel comfortable with our key players. Our defense, let's just say this, our defense played a hell of a game Sunday. They played a hell of a game. I mean, from the front to the line to the middle to the back, just coming out there game one and just giving it. It was just the corners. They messed up some. Dean got beat on a play. Carlton got beat on a play. I seen some, but it's, you can't win every one of them. And but the defense played phenomenal. My only concern, honestly, is I want to see what Ryan Neal's gonna do, man, because he looks like a casualty out there right now, Tones. And then if you could see last night, you see Jordan Whitehead out there balling with 3 interceptions. It's like, what's really going on here? It's kind of crazy, So I mean, I want him to really step up, and he got to show me something, because he's looking like a liability out there in the defense in the back end versus everybody else. And I got to see something from him.
I was actually, I know he didn't play outstanding, but I'm not too worried on Neal, to be honest, because he did play 100% of the snaps, which is great to see. He was a stalwart out there, and this is a new system for him at the end of the day. And Bowles' system, once you learn it, you get the handle of it, but it is a little more difficult to learn. And I thought Bowles' play calling left our defense vulnerable sometimes. Jeremy has a comment on the front seven. We'll get into that here in a bit. As the Godfather's in the house, shout out to the Godfather.
What up, Gotti?
joining us. What up, Godfather? I almost called that game to the T. Yes, sir. You almost predict that score, Godfather. You surely did. As we all of us here,
We were kind of in
besides
the area,
the national TV predicted Vikings.
except for Jeremy McCoy.
Yep, except for our man G-Mac, former Buck, awesome guy, maybe Ring of Honor candidate one day, but that could be a whole show on its own. But the national media said Vikings. 95% of the national media was on the Vikings. And then our show said Bucks. Even the listeners of our show said Bucks. And then Vegas, Friday night, Huncho, when we were on Friday, the line was Bucks plus 6.5.
Right.
When we were on Saturday morning, it was Bucks plus 3.
Yep.
That
We talked
means
about that. Yep.
in a 38-hour span, the spread dropped 3.5 points, which means the money was coming in on the Bucks. But yeah, Ryan Neal, I guess he is a little concerning out of all the concerns. But unless it's week 4 or 5 and he's playing like this, I'm not going to get. I mean, Jefferson's a beast. Osborne's a beast. They have some really good play. Jordan Addison looks good. Alexander Madison, TJ Hawkinson. So they're a hard team to cover all the ground on, to dot your I's and cross your T's. And I give Bucks defense credit. Obviously, Ryan Neal could improve, but I think Bulls did leave the team vulnerable in a little bit with the zone play calls.
Yeah, the zone plays, they definitely did kill us. They did kill us until I don't know what, but it was killing us. And some guys were slipping, falling, double move. I seen Carlton get beat on the double move by Jefferson. Also Jefferson, he kind of like hit Dean with a slant, and Dean kind of like overplayed it, and so it was huge. But on that big play, that was on Carlton Davis, man. He hit Carlton Davis with a double move, and good thing Antoine Winfield was in the backfield, and he's a sure tackler, because if not, that would have been to the house. And yeah, man, it's just so many key players on that defense that just played a pivotal role in that win yesterday. Sunday. I keep saying yesterday. Sunday with 29. Is it like he's one of the players of it?
He looked like NFL Street out there when he said mine.
The man's a undrafted, you know what I'm saying, rookie, comes in, wins the starting job, then you go and you make big boy plays. The moment's not too big for you. You're up there with elite players, the best of the best, and you're making plays at like a veteran. You're not, the game is not too big for him. You gotta love a guy that comes in and he just does that, and it just means down the road he has nothing but room to get better and improve with. And I'm excited about him, man, in that slot. We've been looking for a slot guy for a minute. We even bought Antoine Winfield. He played the nickel position, last year because his speed and athleticism, and he got hurt, and we just couldn't fill that void. And Sean Murphy-Button couldn't step up to the plate. He was getting dragged Sunday also. Nothing changed over there. So I'm just glad to see him. And how do you pronounce it? Izik or is it Izian? Yes, man. He's just gonna be a hell of a player, man. Speedy, heady guy, man. I love it. And I'm just excited, man. That defense is phenomenal. Devin White played lights out. I got to give it to him. He played phenomenal, Tone. So I'm just excited. I'm excited to see what we have in store for the future.
Yeah, it was also interesting as well, Hunch, is first of all, we knew rookies would have a big emphasis on our team, but UDFAs especially looked sharp. I mean, Sean Tucker looked nice in limited touches. Christian Isian played incredible back there. And really, to me, that was a cheap penalty he got called on that pass.
Yeah, come on. And you don't call that. You don't call that and don't call the one on Mike. Like, that's crazy, but yeah.
And I think although he should have tackled Alexander Madison, the play Madison scored on, don't get me wrong. But at the end of the day, I would have liked to see the Bucs defense there. I feel like he was trying to bring him down, and I feel like we should have got another defender there.
And we were fast the whole game. It was the whole team. Like, you get somebody, you'll have another player right there to help you tackle him. And he was out there left alone, and Madison's a little bigger back. First game, you can't get all the tackles. He's a smaller guy. I just feel like, he could have used a little assistance, but I'm not mad. He had a good game, all around. So, I mean, you're going to improve. He's going to get better, though. And I'm just excited to see what he can do for this team.
And then even UDFA Raheem Jarrett got some snaps in as well. So good to get these guys toes wet early on in the season, Huncho, and then really keep him warm for later on in the
Yeah,
year and really have him ready. I mean, look at Devin Tompkins, his progress, right? He went from UDFA last year. We had him on the practice squad. We activated him here and there.
exactly.
Now he looks like a nice player, both return wise. He made a hell of a diving catch as
Exactly.
well, and he's really just a good speedster out
Behind the
there.
back. Yeah, he did good. I mean, he had a drop also, a very important. Baker was dealing, and he had some drops out there. Some guys
That
left.
Mike Evans drop was
Yeah, it's a couple of guys that was dealing, and Mike got to make those if you want to be a 25, 26 mil, whatever type of guy. I know he's put in work and he showed, but if you want to be paid like the upper echelon guys, you got to be
and
like, come on.
this is no knock on Mike at all. Don't get me wrong, Hunch, but the past 18 games or so, we've seen a couple easy ones dropped, and
Yeah,
I mean he's still great. He still gets his separation. He's still the same old Mike, but like you said, that's what goes from a 22, 23 million a year guy to the
right.
25, 26 million.
Those are phenomenal because that score could have been way more than what it, from both sides. But when you get to those teams that those scores count, those catches count, we need those. The Vikings, yeah, we hung around and I feel like we were on an even playing field with them. But when you get with a team like you run into a team like the Eagles, you need everything you can get, and you can't have those. So I expect for him to clean those little things up if he wants that max contract or whatever he's asking for, and if we want to win some close games.
I mean, it might as well be a max contract. No offense. Again, I love Will, but or Mike Evans, but I love both of them, Will and
Yeah, I
Mike
was just about to
Evans.
say, yeah, we
Mike
did.
and Mike, I love both those guys. The last night as well. Real quick side note: I was watching that Jets game, and Wilson to Wilson. That sounds like a law firm out
Yeah,
there.
I've seen
Zach
both.
Wilson to Garrett Wilson. I mean, really, just football's a beautiful thing because so many awesome people just come together, play together, root together, and it's really
Yeah,
just incredible.
it's just a
So
different feel.
it is. One guy I'm not concerned about him because he's more of a blocking tight end hunch, but one guy that I was interested to see how he worked in the play calling early was Keith. I think we went to him passing wise 3 out of the first 5 pass attempts. That was interesting to me, Hunch,
Yeah,
especially since he's probably realistically the third tight end in terms of receiving
exactly.
tight end. I think my theory on that is Canales is driving up sneaky plays more so as well that
Yeah,
try and get these type of guys more open a little bit. And
right.
because the defense could get lost in a guy like Keith. They
Hmm.
could crash down on him and try and think he's going to be a run blocker or something or go out for a screen. The next thing you know, bam, he's cutting up the field on a wheel route and he's open.
But yeah, you got to understand. I get that, and everybody was like, "Oh, why are you throwing Keith the ball?" Those were good plays. If you go back and watch it, if Baker doesn't go too high, or if Keith had a little more ups, he catch that ball, touchdown. The
Mm-hmm.
one when he was on the sideline, that was a good one. Baker just went a little too high. I mean, those are good plays. It just didn't get executed. So when you don't execute plays, people are going to criticize your play calling. But if it was a score and a touchdown, you'd be like, "Oh, Keith's the man. What is he going to do this year? He's going off. I should have got him in my fantasy." You get what I'm saying? It's just, when things don't go as planned, it's just a different type of crowd, a different type of chatter it's going to be. But I personally like the play calls. It was good. It was sneaky and devised. I didn't see it coming. I'm pretty sure they didn't see it coming. It just didn't play out how we wanted it to play. But those play calls were good. I didn't like the back-to-back runs sometimes. That would kind of irritated me on some downs. I didn't like that. But
Yeah, I agree. Sometimes it was irritating, but all in all, a breath of fresh air. As you alluded to earlier, the scrambling was nice, the play calling was nice. Everything felt a little different. And then Jeremy commented earlier. He said Sunday will be a lot of fun. We're going to get into Sunday on the last 5 to 10 minutes of the show here coming up. But he said the front seven is a lot faster, like I predicted. And that's really the beautiful thing. I mean, no offense, a guy like Akeem Hicks clearly was over the hill last year. You had a couple other guys who, outmatched their match last year. No offense to a guy like Deadrian Sanat, but he played a huge role last year. But when you got guys like Logan Hall in year 2, Greg
Yeah.
Gaines being more available, Kalijah Cansey being there, Huncho, we got a lot younger, we got a lot quicker, and that's really what we needed for this front seven. Last year, you see a lot of guys playing cat and mouse, as Melody Waters is joining us on Facebook. We appreciate you, Melody. Hello. Happy Tune Me Up Tuesday. But Hunch, really one of those things where, what's your thoughts?
I just feel like with that, with the play calling, stuff like that, young guys, I just feel like it's more so. I know you remember this term right here, youngry.
Raheem.
Right. These guys are hungry. These young guys coming in, and just before I get into that, I just want to say, Jason Light and his staff, his scouts, scanning and getting these players, getting them in. It's just phenomenal. His eyes, they just get better every year. And it seems like these guys are special. These guys are very, very special. And these young guys are coming in. It's looking like a lot of steals. Look like we got a bunch of steals that could have been drafted higher than what they are. And we were the one that we just had a good picking. And I love the young guys we got coming. I can't wait to see Cansey out there with the first team more consistent. Without this injury, I feel like it's going to be way faster than what we've seen later on in the game when he's available. And I'm just stoked, man. These young guys, they're gonna find a way. They're finding a way to get them on the field, also, so they can show production. You got Trey Palmer making a touchdown out there. You come. I mean, you just
big play Trey.
Come on, yeah. You got Yaya there. They're actually using these guys, so they're not. They're not just sitting there on the bench and just letting the starters just come in. And I seen a couple drives where the whole looked like the whole starting defensive line was out in the second, and they kind of held up. They played decent, man. And I'm just ecstatic, man. I just pray there's no major injuries and we can get back Kansas as soon as possible, so we can get the full effect of this defense and what they can do.
Yeah, so I love Jason Light's quote on the season of our off season on who we brought in and all the UDFAs and veterans we signed. He goes, "We're getting some great value. We're going to go high end shopping at the dollar store." And he's proved time and time again that could pay off. He did it with Shaq Barrett. He did it with Lenny F. He did it with Antonio Brown. Now you're seeing it with the guy like Greg Gaines and Ryan Neal potentially, and Chase McLaughlin and Baker Mayfield even. So I think Light's done an incredible job of constructing this team the best way he could.
A lot of those older guys that we bought in last year, they were just looking for paydays and trying to get a ring because they were with Brady. And no knock to that, because you know what comes with Brady. You expect
Julio and Hicks.
Exactly. And those guys, they didn't have that hunger, that desire to actually be in the NFL like when they first got in the NFL and make play after play after play after play. And that's what these young guys, they know they are surrounded with a group of great guys, so they got to step up to that role and play, so it's no drop off once the starter's out of the game. And I love that energy.
I couldn't agree more. Hunches Dave Castle's joining us. How are you? On Facebook as well. We got a nice little room going here, but I agree with you, Hunch. I love the energy they all bring to the table. You kind of knew right away last year, looking at a guy like Julio and Hicks, right when they got injured, they were over the hill a little bit and such like that. But we're going to look a little bit now, again, Friday and Sunday, mainly towards the Bears game. We're going to touch up on it a little bit here, but first off, I just want to say you guys are listening to Huncho and Tampa Tones on the Buccaneers podcast live on Buccaneers YouTube and Bucs Life News Facebook. You can catch an instant replay on Google Play, Apple, Spotify, and other podcast outlets around the world at Buccaneers Podcast. And you could also find us on Twitter at Buccaneers, Instagram at Buccaneers Pod as well. You could keep up with me on Twitter at Tampa Tones. Once again, we will be here throughout the year on Tuesdays for Tune Me Up Tuesdays, Thursday or Fridays for pregame preview, and then Sunday for our way too early pregame
Yes, sir.
shows. Hunch, speaking of the pregame show, we got a big one against the Bears this week.
Yeah,
They had a rough week one. They lost to the Packers, but we know week one's a little bit of a fluke.
exactly.
And we know that the Bucs have had struggles before with scrambling quarterbacks and the likes of such. And we know that Fields is one of the better
Yeah,
scrambling QBs in the league. So I expect Devin White to be on his A game yet again this week, as he was last week, I will admit. And an impressive thing with Devin is he's so strong. It doesn't really matter where he wraps you up. If you watch a film or the highlights, Devin White tackles high a lot of the time, but White has the capability of bringing the ball carrier or the quarterback down, even
immediately.
when he tackles high, because of how strong he is, Huncho. So one
Yes.
matchup I'm looking forward to most is going to be Devin White and Levante David against Justin Fields and the Bears running quarterback. What say you?
Yeah, I'm gonna say I'm looking forward to that also. I feel like Todd Bowles is gonna draw up a phenomenal game plan to stop him. And we seen how mobile quarterbacks when we contained Patrick Mahomes for that Super Bowl, and he's not just a mobile quarterback, but for the most part, he's a very great scrambler and thrower. Justin Fields is more of a running quarterback, but I feel like Todd Bowles can draw up a phenomenal game plan to slow him down and make him put pressure where he has to throw the ball and get rid of it quick. And I'm going to say the matchup I'm looking forward to is one that we're familiar with, and I'm going to say with DJ Moore. I want to see him slow down with like he was last week when he went against Zaire Alexander. I feel like Carlton Davis knows him. He knows Carlton Davis. They're going to probably look at some other plays of what works for him. But if we can slow down DJ Moore and make them have to force them the ball to throw to Chase Claypool, and I like Dean on him, I mean, I think we have a very good shot of stopping their offense and containing them. I don't think Justin Fields is very accurate at all. He makes dumb decisions. He's not there yet, and until he can prove otherwise, I feel like our defense is going to be superior to their offense, and we force them to be one-dimensional, and we take advantage of it, man.
Yeah, and let's be honest now, as Pops has a good comment, obviously can't take the Bears for granted, expect and be ready for a different
Most
team than
definitely.
they were week one. Their season rides on this game with them and KC the next week and starting in the abyss at 0-3. We will win, but we can't overlook them. And I mean, I feel the same. I think we will win, Hunch. I think it'll be a little bit closer than some of the people think now. I ultimately think we win, and I think we win for a couple of reasons. Fields is pretty one-dimensional, right? Nothing against the guy, great guy, but he's got to learn how to throw. If we could make Fields beat us with his arm, and if he beats us with his arm, hats off to him, because that'll be the first time he ever does that, right? So we just really got to be ready for the run. Devin White's got to look like the Devin White of last week. We can't have a half-assed Devin White this week. We can't have him inconsistent this week. We can't have him letting his guard down this week. We need the same Devin White we had last week. We need the same Levante David we had last week, and we need the same Antoine Winfield Jr. we had last week. We need ferocious pass rush. We got that at times last week, and we really just got to stay on this Bears team and press them. And offensively, the biggest thing we got to do, as we did last week, is turnover-free football. To me, if we win the turnover battle, we win this game. We could really try and get Rashad White going against this Bears defense. They're nothing to overlook, but their great young D-back Gordon broke his hand as well.
Yep.
They're going to be without a couple key defenders. And really, this Bucs team, just like the Bears, they can't start 0-2 heading into KC. I really don't think we could start 1-1 heading into that Philly game, because that Philly game is going to be tough. If we had 2-0 going into that Philly game, I'm not calling it a freebie, but whatever happens, happens then, right, Hunch? Because ultimately, if you start 2-0 and you lose to Philly to get to 2-1, your season is still looking great. If you start 1-1 and you lose to Philly, next thing you know, it's 1-2, blah, blah, blah. People are going to start panicking out there. So we really need this win. I think we get this win. I'm saving my score prediction, but final thoughts on the Bears game this Sunday before we get to our last segment.
I definitely feel like we need this game. I'm not going to say a winnable game, but it's more so of a game just like the one that we just played. I feel like we got to tighten up some things and adjust. Hopefully, we capitalize on all the plays and don't leave anything on the field. We're gonna be home. It's gonna be our first home game, so I feel like Ray J will play a part, and it'll be rocking. It'll be hot out there for the Bear, So
That's huge, Hunch. It will
yeah,
be very hot for the Bears.
yeah, it'll be hot out there, and I'm just expecting Baker to put it out there. He wants to welcome himself to Tampa to let him know that he wants to be here for a while. He's going to put his neck on the line, literally, out there, and I'm expecting a great game, and I feel like we're going to show improve of this week. It might be better, a lot of things cleaned up this week than the previous week, and I'm looking forward to see what how the offense and the defense scheme. I mean, it's more exciting. I mean, last year we kind of knew what we got. We knew it was Tom Brady, but it's exciting, man. I want to see Rashard White get going. I would like to see more blocking from the offensive line, open up some holes. Probably throw some Sean Tucker in there because he looked phenomenal while he was in. And Rashard White, he got to figure out this tiptoeing stuff, man. I know it's kind of difficult. He's trying to learn how to be more of a number one running back and carry that load and figure it out in the NFL. But Sean Tucker's looking like he's going to be a beast, man. So you're going to have to tighten up and make some plays, man, and get the yards when you could just put your head down and just get them.
Yeah, and I'm not really worried about the Rashad White thing as much yet. I know a lot of people were champing on Twitter, but man, people forget it's week 1. Carson Wentz threw 400 passing yards and 4 touchdowns to defeat the Jaguars last year in week 1. The Bears beat the 49ers last year in week 1. Hell, Rashad White could look better, but you got to remember this is his first game really being the starting running back, being the workhorse on this ball team. So, and he really didn't play this preseason at all either. I think he had 4 or 5 carries all of preseason. So, one of those things where I think with time and with playing time, Rashad White's going to get better and more acclimated in the system. But what I'm looking forward to this Sunday mostly is our front 7 on Justin Fields, how they handle him. I think they're going to do an extraordinary job. And I think that really at the end of the day, our front 7 is probably just as good, if not better, than the Packers' front 7. I'm elated to see what Shaq's going to do. I think Logan Hall is a breakout game. I'm excited to see our front 7 against the Bears this upcoming week. But I really think it'll be a closer game than people expect. I probably think it's a touchdown game. I think Bucs win by 6 or 7. Again, we'll get into score predictions at a later time and all that good stuff. But we also have a cool thing to talk about, Hunch. During the bye week and during off season especially, we're going to work a little special segment and episodes into our program with my good buddy Jake Jahimick, who's one of the bigger Bucs memorabilia collectors out there. He's been to pretty much every stadium to get Bucs autographs, game use stuff, and whatnot. So we're going to have some inside looks at the collector's edition of being a Bucs fan with Jake Jahimick on our bye week and a little bit this offseason as well. So excited to get Jake aboard and depict his journey as he watches the Bucs at all these other NFL stadiums and his stories about meeting some of these guys and getting some of their game use stuff. I think that'll be some fun stuff when football talk is a little down. We'll bring him in and we'll keep the good talks going.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I'm welcoming. I love the new vibes going on. I love the new things that you're doing and adding on. Constantly building to make our podcast better, so we could be better for the public and get this thing rolling. And I appreciate all the support from everybody out there tuning in and watching us. Tone's put a lot of work and trust me, a lot of work into this during the week and getting everything set up. So I'm glad that you're doing more and more, and I'm just ready for the ride. And I appreciate everything that's going on.
I appreciate you like crazy, Hunts. Just 2 more quick announcements before we get our last one big thing in walk-offs. Tonight on our Twitter, at Buccaneers, Buccateers, we will be dropping our first giveaway on the season. The week after the Bucs win, we'll always be announcing a Twitter giveaway. This week, the Bucs won, obviously. You could be getting a Luke Gedeke signed mini helmet with an inscription of Fire the Cannons, and it's a personalized mini helmet. You'll see pictures on Twitter. There will be proof of him signing it. The only rules will be to retweet the post of the giveaway, to follow our Twitter, Buccaneers, and then follow me on Twitter at Tampa Tones. Then the next time we do a giveaway, instead of follow me, you're going to have to follow Huncho, and we're going to shuffle our co-host throughout the giveaway process as well. So it'll be simple. All you'll have to do is repost, follow our account, and follow me. And then next time it'll be Huncho, the time after, et cetera, et cetera. And you could win a Luke Gedeke signed mini helmet with a proof of him signing as well. So that'll really be a cool thing to see there, Huncho. The Luke Gedeke signed mini helmet. Hopefully you guys could get a chance to win that on the Buccaneers this coming night. The giveaway will be open a couple of days, so if you don't get on there tonight, that's completely all right. Hunch, did we lose you or we still have you? If we still have you, what do you think about the giveaway, brother?
I'm excited about that. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. I'm looking at my signed ball and I'm trying to.
No, you don't got. I got stuff to give away, but you're going to be the one who gets followed. You know, you're going to be honored. So I'll take care of. I mean, if you want to give something away, feel free. But I got some back stock for us to give away.
Alrighty. I got some things in store also.
And then I was telling you, Hunch, I think we came up with NFL draft shirts a couple years back. We came up with mini helmets 2 years ago. Last year, we came out with Buccaneers Oreos. This year, I was telling Huncho, we're going to be getting a couple, all the co-hosts will be getting in, but then we're going to be getting a couple extra to give away. Halloween edition Buccaneers podcast t-shirts. Those will probably be coming to you in about 4 to 5 weeks or so. You guys just pay attention, and you could be winning a Halloween Buccaneers t-shirt, Hunch. How about that?
Spooky season, man. It's coming up.
It is, brother. Speaking of spooky season, time for me to get spooky tonight. No, I'm just kidding. But any last words or thoughts as you give your one big thing and walk off here, Hunch, before we get ready for the Friday show or the Thursday show? We'll keep you guys posted on when that will be.
Man, I'm just excited to keep on this journey, man. One big thing, I mean, Dave Canales, he only can get better. So I'm excited to see what this offense can do, man. And I'm just excited just to see what he can put together this year and this game.
Keep going. Anything else to add, Hunt?
Just this year, this game, and I just want everybody to stay blessed, stay prayed up, stay safe out there.
Yeah, I agree with Hunch. Everything you just said. Stay blessed, stay prayed up, stay safe out there. Really excited to see as well what Canales could continue to do, Huncho. I also think Thad Lewis, our quarterbacks coach, former quarterback in the league, has been doing an incredible job working with Baker, Trask, and Wolford as well. And again, Huncho, our last word and our last walk-off on the matter. Rest in peace to the late, great Mike Williams. Gone, but never forgotten. Played 4 seasons for the Bucs. Really had 3 good seasons here. Really incredible season. Really a good guy. Gone at the age of 36. He's gone way too soon.
Quick question, not to cut you off. Rest in peace, Mike Williams. But do you come back next?
What's up, Hunch? You were cutting out a little bit. What was that?
I was saying, rest in peace, Mike Williams. But I had a I wanted to get your take on. Do you think Aaron Rodgers comes back next year, or is he done?
I think Rodgers does come back next year. I think the way they set his contract up, he intended to play with the Jets for 2 seasons. I know he got injured. I know he's not young anymore, but I don't think Rodgers is going to go out like that. And quite frankly, I think this scenario is interesting for the Jets because now Rodgers at least could rehab all this season and all off season and be ready for week 1. And at the same time, you get a true Zach Wilson trial now as he had the preseason to learn from Rodgers. So if he has it this year, you could learn from Rodgers again next year and then be your start of the year after. If he doesn't have it after this year, you got to move on.
Yes, sir. I agree with you 100%, man. Everything.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's been an incredible Buccaneers. It's been Huncho. It's been Tampa Tones. We love you guys. Stay blessed. Stay up. Stay prayed up. Fire the damn cannons. Go Bucs. We'll be back Thursday or Friday. We'll let you guys know. Have a great Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen. Be safe. Stay safe. Stay beautiful. And everything else. We love you guys. Peace. Fire the damn cannons. game on Sunday, man. I know you're nervous for the Rams, but you got to be a little enthusiastic after being there.
Bro, that game atmosphere was ridiculous. The energy, the electricity. That place was rocking. Anyone was there, and a lot of the Super Buck fans were there too. The Bucs.
Tampa Tones. We are joined by lead goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little clear. But we're joined by Pat
It looks like
Donovan.
Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like we got a little.
No, my camera.